Hello. Long time no see. I've got my glasses on today because I've got bad hay fever. I don't know why I'm doing this morning. I haven't done one for some time. I'm still not particularly 100%, but I came in here quite early this morning, 6 o'clock actually, and I found a photograph on the floor that was taken of me and a Franciscan Friary. I went there for a retreat. It's a quiet little story. It suits me today. I'm a quiet little person today. But I found this photograph. There's me 40 years ago, and there's Brother Hugh. It was a very interesting time actually. That I don't know what, I went just after I left my husband. I was feeling a bit down, and I heard about this place. It's in Dorchester, southern England, and I thought I'd go down there and go and stay for a retreat, you know, have a sort of couple of days with the guys and just chill out really. And it was very, very pleasant. It was a beautiful weather. We have beautiful weather, and I think I have done a video on this some time ago, and but I'm just doing it again because I found this on the floor and I thought that's very odd. It must mean something, and you have to listen to these messages, you know. So anyway, I just talk about the visit because it was very sweet. When I got there, it was a really, really hot day, and I was just surprised to see all the brothers. They're called brothers. St.Francis was the one that loved the animals and the birds and the flowers. Very sweet and gentle, and he rebuilt the church in Assisi in Italy. Well, rebuilt it practically, I think, as well, but he rebuilt the church in Italy in Assisi, and he's one of my favourite chaps. Got great following all over the world. So I was surprised to see these brothers. I had the romantic notion of seeing them all in their brown robes like he's got on there, but they were in shorts and trainers and running around, you know, just like ordinary guys really. So that was the first shock, but they're very sweet and kind, and they want the chief chap. What would he be called? The Abbott, I suppose. The chief friar. Sat and talked to me about the services, how they do the services, and what happens. You know, they've got kitchens and they cook their dinners. They've got cooks and so forth. But it was a bit disappointing because really they couldn't cook. Great big tureen of porridge in the morning. You know, you had your metal dish and your spoon. You know. Very basic living really. Well, it would be, wouldn't it? But they did their very basic lunch, dinners and teas and so forth, and lovely gardens. And of course St. Clare was one of the sisters that started her own movement, and she was a friend of St. Francis. I think she was just a friend, and Clare Garden was one of my favourite places, and I loved it there, I really did. And this is a picture of Brother Hugh and me together. He's got his spade. I've got a bit slimmer there, a bit younger. 40 years ago almost. 35 years ago. And it was just nice sharing time, doing a bit of gardening, because they hadn't got a gardener, and they knew that I knew what I was doing, and so he rushed to my aid with a spade, and we had quite a nice time together. But it was, I don't know, you stayed in a little tiny room, had a single bed and a little dressing table. It was very basic, but it would be, wouldn't it? They were all trapped together, no women of course. I was the only woman there. It suited me. But there's another girl that was staying, and we got together, and we got on quite well together, so we did a bit of gardening as well. And the services were just very basic, and it was just beautiful really. So I had a nice time there, but we had some fun as well because they ran out of water. It's in the middle of nowhere in where is it? The Dorset, and they ran out of water because it was very, very hot summer, and so we had to ration the water. Didn't actually get into a bath together, this girl and I, but we had to sort of ration the water because there wasn't much around. So yeah, we had a good time, and I learnt a lot really. It was a very simple life, you know, and it was very healing as well. I did go back 2 or 3 times after that in the at Christmas time. I think I told you about the Christmas event. But when I was there, I met this young man. He was actually gay. He was so sweet. He was so sweet, and he came and talked to me when I was doing some gardening, and we got on very well together. And I think, I don't know when, I must admit, I drove down the first time in my own car. I think the second time I went by train, and he offered to take me home because he lives in Bristol, the same as me. So he drove me home. We almost went into a ditch because we were looking at the full looking at the full moon, and we had a laugh over that, you know. It was really sweet. So, but I just wanted to, what reminded me about it, I was thinking about him a lot yesterday. I mean, this is 35 years ago, and I can remember I was doing some weeding or whatever, and he came up to me and he had a little paper bag in his hand, and there were some Fritilariesl, they're little bulbs that come up in the spring, and he'd obviously, I thought it was very, very sweet, he'd obviously bought them somewhere, as was a craft fair or somewhere he bought these and was hanging on to them, hoping somebody would help him to plant them. Isn't that sweet? It's so sweet. And I did plant them for him. I wonder if they're still there under this tree, and it rests on the bottom of the tree. Very sweet. And funny enough, the chap that I met, John his name was, who drove me home, he must have died because I was in my garden the other day, and I just suddenly felt him around, and it was a link when I was in my garden and he was in the garden, so I just felt him around and I said hello and whatever. Now I think he must have been 50s now, I don't know, but he was a younger man, not the Brother Hugh. Oh dear, but the young one that drove me home, and he came to see me in my garden recently. How have you all been anyway? Are you all developing your gifts, your skills? I mean, there's so much on the internet now, isn't there? So much. I don't really bother with much of it because I don't know how much to believe anyway. You just got to go by your own experiences, haven't you? I think if you read too much, you get a little bit confused, you know. And there's all this. I mean, are you in the fifth dimension, or are you this, or where are you from? I think, do we really need to know all this? I think I'm in the fifth, I'm sure some of you are, and they give all the symptoms and the signs of what it's like, you know, but I do understand that in the fifth your health is restored, and the lost years are restored. It's quite a healing place to be, and I'm hoping I will get restored because I'm actually been quite ill lately, and I don't know what to, I'm going for some blood tests and things, you know. I've had one of these special toilets fitted because I can't get down anymore, and that's depressed me. I really have got quite depressed about getting old. I just don't. I know it's inevitable, but if you've got family and friends sort of chip you along, you know, it's a bit more bearable, isn't it? But I haven't, so I feel I'm struggling on my own a bit really. And it is difficult because the world is for the young people, isn't it? And I should say I've got a lot to offer. Mary Berry is 89. She's the cook. I think I mentioned her to you last time. And age really isn't got anything to do with it. We're supposed to look younger as we get older because of the light that we shine, you know? I don't know. There's so many thoughts and views on this. Some people believe in eternal, living eternally, you know. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to actually. I think I'm getting a bit fed up with the earth. You know, poor Dr. Mosley that died recently. I had a funny feeling about him. You know, I can say this here because it's just to huge people, but I don't know whether I had a funny feeling. I mean, he was a doctor. He must have known what would happen, walking across this island in that heat. And I thought, I wondered if he just at some point thought that he wanted to leave, wanted to go. People are doing that more nowadays, and in the Bible it says one will leave, you know, people are leaving for all sorts of reasons, not just dying, but disappearing apparently. So it's a time of loss, and I don't know, he was a very sweet man, but I think he must have known that he couldn't make it in that heat. I don't know. No one's come up with that idea, so you've got to be careful. But it's just a thought, you know, that he may have had a down time or whatever, you know, I don't know. So yeah, lots of very peculiar things happening, aren't there? And we got an election coming up in the UK. I don't watch politics. And have you noticed how people are losing their tempers more, you know? People, even on the television, are cracking up, you know, losing their tempers, and people are beginning to get really affected by these new energies, I think. I don't know how you are, but I'm sitting very quietly. I'm very fortunate living quietly here, and gosh, I'm so grateful. There's so much peculiar stuff happening in the world. I'm really lucky to be here on my own, really, you know, quite safe and sound. Anyway, darlings, I'm not going to go on too long today because I'm not very bright, as you can probably tell. I wanted to do a video about funerals. Both my parents had a horrendous time. I mean, you would not believe. And I think, is that a bit too depressing? I don't know. So I'm thinking about that one because it was a very interesting time, to say the least. But this is that'll do for now. All right, darlings, I hope you're all well. And do make some comments, let me know if you enjoy these things or not. This is a very quiet one, not like my YouTube, full of fun and vigour, you know. This is a quiet time. I don't know what the stars are doing. I think we had a full moon recently, and we've had equinox, and I haven't talked to you about any of these things. I used to be so into it all, you know. I used to know when the moons were and this and that. I think I wouldn't say I'm going backwards, but maybe I've left that behind. I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about it? You think you're changing quite a lot about your views on these things? I don't know. Maybe I'm becoming more. I don't know, I think my mission probably is to become more earthly. Forget the spiritual stuff, I've done that. Got the t-shirt, got my badges. And now I've got to kind of come down to earth and bring it into the earth plane. I don't know. I know we are actually all of us flying about, you know. I see little lights at night sometimes, and they wake me up and they want for me to earth the energy, the light at night time, because not many of us work at night. I don't sleep at night. My real name is Sister of the Stars. That's a nice name, isn't it? And I think, well, no wonder I don't sleep at night, because I'm up there flying about. Anyway, darling, it's nice to talk to you again, and I might do the funeral one next time. I don't want to depress you. It's not a depressing story. It's a fun story, actually. It happened to me, but I might do that next time. Okay, take care of yourselves. God bless.